It is my absolute pleasure to be joined today by author Dr. Jacqueline Nelson. She is the author of the newly released book, If It's in Your Head, It's in Your House. And so, Dr. Nelson, tell us about this book.
Thank you, Stacy. Yes, I wrote this book because during my um, when I'm working with my clients and we're dealing with trauma, and I'm saying the same things over and over again. So I said, let me put this in a book. Trauma is very difficult to unpack and deal with for any individual, and so in sessions, where I'm giving guidelines of how to start that conversation. So this book is to help any individual with any past trauma or even present trauma to start that conversation, some guidance, some support. Now, it's not in lieu of therapy, because therapy will help you take that journey. But will start that conversation, because sometimes it's hard to even start. People say, well, where do I begin? And I always tell them, at the beginning. So the book, each chapter, each section talks about, the what of trauma. What is it? What was it? Or who was it? Because it's either an event or a person that's causing you trauma and challenges in your life. And so this book is all about how to start the conversation, the questions that people normally ask when they're going to therapy, and they're like, well, I don't know where to start. I don't know what to write about. I don't know how to, what do I do with my feelings? Because when you're unpacking trauma, you're going to feel those emotions: anger, fear, worry, sadness, right? So it talks about how to navigate through those, right? How to start the journaling. About the book is mainly, and I use the title because people don't live inside their heads, in their houses. They live inside their heads. And so there's a lot that's packed in there. There's a lot that we kind of throw into our subconscious, right? Well, I'm not going to talk about it. And the book talks about, just because you don't talk about a thing doesn't mean it's not affecting you. Doesn't mean it can't be triggered. And we always talk about in therapy, we really encourage individuals to heal from your trauma, because it can be triggered at any time, and nobody knows when that's going to happen. I don't know when I'll have the next thought and what that thought will be, and so you can be triggered. It can bring things up from the past. Then now you have to still deal with it because you're still attached to it. So it talks about how people carry trauma for years. So that's mainly what the book is about. And so I was, again, inspired to do it because I say the same things in therapy over and over. Everyone can't afford to go to therapy, but I wrote this book to kind of help people start that journey, because, again, therapy is expensive. But I don't tell people not to go to therapy. The book is not, like I can do therapy on myself, but it gives you a start to the conversation.
Well, I think this is incredible because I think people sometimes who have been through trauma, they don't understand how it truly affects them, and they don't understand how it actually can hinder the freedom and the wonderful life that they're meant to have. And so and they don't know where to start, right? And this is such a great book to really get people to be like, you know what, yes, there is a starting place for this. So I think it's great. And you talked about it a little bit already, but I do want to just ask you this: is obviously this was inspired by all of the things that people say repeatedly. Was there a main point of inspiration where you were like, you know what, I am going to put this in a book?
Well, if I can say on this recording, really, it was a God thing.
You can say that.
I am a therapist, and so it was really inspired by God. That was the voice that I'm hearing in my head, but also of the so many hurting people. I mean, I see hundreds and hundreds of people every year, and a lot of pain that people are going through. Not that they're not going through issues in present day, but a lot of people are stuck. They're trapped in old stuff that they don't know what to do with, so they just say, well, I just won't talk about it. But then when it comes up, then we talk about people who are easily irritated, people who are nervous all the time, anxious all the time. There's a lot that people are packed in their heads. And I feel so bad about people who are not living life on purpose. They're not living their best life. They're not living free from all of that stuff that happened years ago. And so I was inspired by my clients who I care so much for, but I'm there for them. But I'm thinking about all of the people that will never hear what I have to say. And I'm not saying that they might hear it from, a friend or a family member, but I felt like these words need to be put in print so somebody else can say, hey, I'm looking for some answers. I don't know what to do. And that's what really inspired me. It's just there's so many people that are hurting, and we don't know it. So many people wear a mask. They're smiling all the time. They have nice, fancy homes, and they have nice cars. You see them on vacation, but just because they're in the south of France does not mean they're happy. And so, because I see so many people every day that are struggling with stuff that's inside their head, and that inspired even the title, because if it's in your head, it's wherever you go. So you can be in France, you can be in New York, you can be in Dubai. If it's in your head, it's with you. You carry it everywhere. So I was inspired just by so many hurting people, so many people that are struggling with what's in their head. Now they're not even struggling with, they have a nice job, they make good money, but it's what's in your head that people are struggling with. So.
And no matter where you go, you can't escape your own head, so your thoughts are always there. And yes, I think this book is incredible. Is there anything else you'd like to share with us today about you, your book, or the message within the book?
I just want people to live their best life. And I don't mean that monetarily or materialistically. I just want you to live your best life in your head. Oh my God. Because when you're free from torture and neglect and abandonment, that, because we hold all of that, right? I just want people to be free. I think if I could my message is, it's not about winning the lottery. That would be nice. But I want you to win the lottery in your head. I want you to be so free that no matter what's going on, no matter who's in the White House, you can still be free when you wake up in the morning and look in the mirror. That if I could just get, so I just want to get the book out there, right? So I've written it, so it's kind of like sitting on a shelf or whatever. I just want people to know you can live free from your trauma. You can.
I think that is such a powerful message, and the world needs it. So many people need this message. We want to encourage everyone to pick up this book. If it's in your head, it's in your house. Pick this book up online. It's available anywhere online books are sold, on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Reader House, Apple Books, all of these places. Pick this book up and start the journey, to freedom. And Dr. Nelson, you've been an absolute joy to talk to today. Thank you for taking the time to talk to me.
Thank you so much, Stacey. It was a pleasure.